many of you already know, there was a recent Ethiopian Airlines crash that led to the death of 157 passengers. The plane was a 737 MAX from Boeing, and a lot of people are trying to find someone to pin the blame on. Is it Boeing's fault? Is it the Ethiopian Airlines fault? Well, I came across an article today that made quite a long stretch here to find someone to blame. Let's take a look. Boeing 737. Trump's government shutdown delayed fixes to airplane involved in multiple deadly crashes. You understand what they're trying to do here, right? They're trying to blame Donald Trump for the death of 157 passengers. Let me read this headline very carefully. Trump's government shutdown delayed the fixes to an airplane, not to the airplane, to the airplane model that was involved in multiple deadly crashes. So they don't say it explicitly, but implicitly throughout this article, basically the thesis is that if Trump didn't have this government shutdown, that maybe some mechanics would be able to find some faults within the Boeing 737 MAX, and then the one in Ethiopia would have been safe, and we would have saved 157 passengers. That's a far stretch, guys. I don't think blaming Trump is the right move. CNN did the same thing, by the way, and it's like, come on, guys, that's a little too much. All right, let's read this article just a little bit. Boeing has announced plans to release a software update for its MAX fleets that may fix reported flaws in the new plane's automated safety features following a second deadly crash in just 5 months. Though the cause of the latest accident remains under investigation, the plane company said in a press conference on Tuesday it had been working on an update over the past several months to address a feature that reportedly caused one of its 737 MAX planes to nosedive into the ocean last year, killing everyone on board. The two pilots of that Lion Air flight struggled to correct the issue as the plane plunged into the sea. The fatal Ethiopian Airlines crash, which also killed all 157 passengers on the flight, followed the U.S. government shutdown, the longest of its kind in American history, in which pilots warned Donald Trump and congressional leadership that certification and work on safety-related airworthiness directives had been stalled by the federal closure. Come on. You can't blame Donald Trump over this. Like, what they're saying is, again, one of these mechanics, the people that certify and work on safety-related airworthiness directives, would have discovered something in one of the airline models over the period of these few months that the government was closed, and would have saved this airline 157. It would have saved 157 passengers. Yeah, no, that's not remotely correct. Now, I really don't like how the media is spinning this story overall. First off, Boeing didn't want to ground the 737 MAXs. And like all the corporate media outlets were like, why would they do such a thing? I wonder why. Oh, who knows? Maybe you should decide, right? And I'm thinking, no, they have interest to keep it open. They want their Boeings flying. They have financial interest in doing so. I don't understand why this is even like up for question, right? It's like, imagine a theme park, right? Disneyland. Imagine one of the rides goes down. Do you think Disneyland is going to close Disneyland because their entire theme park, because maybe a ride ended up killing someone? No, they're going to reopen the next day, and they have a financial interest in reopening the next day so that everyone can go around, and maybe that ride could be closed down for like a day or two, and then they'll reopen it again. That's their financial interest. Obviously, if you leave it up to Disney in that sense, they're going to reopen the Disneyland. So, in my opinion, I don't think that it should have been left up to Boeing to land these things. And so, what did Trump do? He forced, as of today, he forced the Boeing 737 MAXs to land. That was the good move. And everyone was outraged. Like, how could you do that? You should let Boeing make those decisions. You don't know anything about flying. No, they have a financial interest to keep the planes in the air. So someone has to come in. Maybe it's Donald Trump. Maybe it's whoever's involved in that institution of checks and balances of flight control. I don't know anything about planes. Understand that. But certainly, if Donald Trump does it, that's not a bad thing. we should have someone come out and say, listen, ground these suckers so we can figure out what's going on. So that Boeing can figure out what's going on, and then we'll fly them back in the air. Why is that so wrong? Everyone's so mad at Trump for this. I'm not mad at Trump. I don't blame Trump for the death of 157 passengers. I think that's outrageous, and I think, especially considering Independent is British run, I think that was quite a far stretch.